Hello everybody, my name is Dieter Bohn of precentral.net, and we are going to give you a quick overview of everything you need to know about the Palm Pre Plus on Verizon and the Palm Pixi Plus on Verizon. These are two devices that are launching on January 25th. The Palm Pre Plus on Verizon is going to be $149.99 after rebate, and the Palm Pixi Plus on Verizon, which you turn on by hitting the power button up here and then unlocking it, is going to be $99 on Verizon after rebate. They both launch on January 25th, and just want to give you a quick overview of WebOS and how it works and what you can expect with this great new phone. So the Palm Pre Plus is a very small, cute little phone. You can see here it fits very well in the hand when it's closed, and you can compare it, we'll say, to the iPhone, a phone you might be familiar with. You can see it's quite a bit shorter, a little bit thicker, not too bad. But it has the same screen resolution, 320 wide by 480 tall, so you get plenty of pixels on there. It also has a really great slide-up keyboard. And this keyboard, although it looks very, very tiny, is actually very usable once you get the hang of it. If you've got long fingernails, you might want to try typing with the fingernails. But the bottom line with it is you really want to give it a real solid chance before you give up on it, because once you get used to it, like I said, it's really great. On the back here you'll see it has a cute little mirror, which is nice. We have a 3 megapixel camera with a flash. You got a power button up top, a regular 3.5 millimeter headset jack for standard headphones, and a ringer switch, which is very convenient. You just hit that and the ringer's off and you can turn it back on. So taking a look at the WebOS, the thing that's great about this operating system and the smartphone operating system is that it is able to multitask really well, and it also uses these things called gestures. So one of the first gestures you'll learn is this quick swipe up from this gesture area on the bottom. The touchscreen area extends down below the screen, and this will bring up your launcher, and then you can just very easily launch apps. And so we'll launch our first app. This is a Photos app, and we'll do that swipe up to go into card view, and we'll bring up the launcher again. And we'll launch another application. Let's launch the music application. And while that launches, there it is, and we can swipe up again. And we can launch another app. Let's launch, let's say the calendar application. And then you can see that you've got multiple applications running all at the same time. You can very quickly and easily switch between them. You can even reorder them if you want. You can just hold your finger down, drag it around, and then just go into the application that you want to use. You can see here that we've got a really nice capacitive touchscreen. You just use the tip of your finger. So we can go in and take a look at a picture here. The other nice thing about this touchscreen is it uses multi-touch, which means that you get to do certain gestures like pinch to zoom, and zoom in on something, zoom out. It also rotates, so you can see that rotated quite easily. And then the last gesture I want to show you, I'll rotate that back, is the back gesture. So instead of swiping up in the gesture area, you can swipe back, and that will take you back one level. And then you can also, instead of swiping up, you can also just tap the gesture area if you want to do that. And then if you're done with an application, you're no longer looking at pictures, for example, you just swipe the card away. So it's very intuitive to have multiple apps running, doing exactly what you want, and when you're done with it, you close. Unlike an Android device like the Motorola Droid, on Verizon, you don't have to have a task manager, you don't have the thing bogged down very often because you know what's running and you close the stuff you're not using. The Palm Pre Plus on Verizon is different than the Palm Pre on Sprint in a couple of ways. First of all, it has a better keyboard and a more solid sliding mechanism. And then second of all, got rid of that button. But most importantly, it has more RAM, which means you're able to run more applications at the same time. Another great thing about the WebOS is that it has this thing called Synergy. So what you're able to do is you're able to punch in Gmail, Yahoo, Exchange, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and it will pull in your contacts and your calendars from all of those different accounts and merge them together. And it doesn't actually merge them all into one giant bucket and then mess up your contacts. It keeps them all siloed and safe, so you don't have to worry about them, messing up and looking weird. So I'll launch my calendar here again, and you can see that I've got different colored events here from the different calendars that I have on my device. And so you can get a really quick overview of everything that you've got. The web browser on WebOS is very, very good. The only web browser on a phone that's any better than this is going to be the browser on the iPhone. But even this is better. And at launch, it's not going to have Flash, but sometime in February, Flash is going to work on the browser, on the Palm Pre and the Palm Pixi Plus, which is pretty exciting. But you can see here it's able to load a page fairly quickly. We're using Wi-Fi in this case. And in fact, another really convenient thing is no matter where you are on the phone, you can always pull down this menu and turn Wi-Fi on and off. We'll just turn it off here really quick. You can also turn Bluetooth on and off. That's also very convenient. And so you can see this page is basically loaded. You can double tap to zoom into a certain area. You can, of course, rotate the screen to get a clearer view of what you're trying to read. And then you can also use multi-touch to zoom back out again. And let's say I've got this window open, and I want to open another one. Very simple to do with the multitasking on the WebOS. So we'll let that sit, and we'll take a look at the Pixi Plus on Verizon. Basically, you're looking at almost the exact same thing here. You're going to have a slightly smaller screen. It's 320 wide by 400 tall. In practice, that doesn't really make a huge difference. It's not too bad. A couple other differences between the Palm Pre Plus and the Palm Pixi Plus. The Pixi Plus has a slightly slower processor and slightly less RAM. So it's not going to be quite as fast as the Palm Pre Plus, and you're not going to be able to have quite as many apps open. However, you'll see if we pull down this menu here, it does have Wi-Fi, which is actually very exciting. The Palm Pixi on Sprint does not have Wi-Fi. It's a huge mistake to not have Wi-Fi on this phone. But the Pixi Plus on Verizon does have it, so that's a big win. The last thing I'll mention about the Pixi Plus, again, we have a very small keyboard, but this keyboard is stupendous. It is great. It's very clicky. You can hear me typing away on it there. It's very easy to type on. Again, give it a little bit of time. Once you get used to it, it's really nice. So both these phones, the Palm Pre Plus and the Palm Pixi Plus, again, are available on Verizon on January 25th. Both have got just a really great multitasking operating system, really nice touchscreen that once you learn those gestures I showed you early on are very intuitive, and just great phones. One other advantage of the WebOS is it has an app catalog where you can download and install apps, and so we'll load that up here to show you some of the apps that are available right now. We've got just over 1,000 apps. I want to say 1,100 as of this recording, with more coming every day. They're all based on HTML technology, so it's very easy to develop for. So you can see we've got just a bunch of apps here. And in addition to these HTML apps, which we've got, so here's my Twitter app, for example, there are also 3D games that are just starting to come out. So we'll load Need for Speed Underground here, and you'll see that it'll load up here. Take just a minute. Need for Speed Undercover, excuse me. And it's a full 3D gaming experience. There's only a handful of these really good games out so far. Need for Speed, of course. There's Let's Golf, which is a really fun game. Alright, and here we go, racing. You can see here I'm using the accelerometer to steer, and you can even enable turbo mode, which is pretty exciting. And look at that, I'm in first place already. And just like all the other apps, you can throw it into card view, have it sitting there in the background paused, go do something else, and away you go. Alright guys, there's plenty more coverage over at precentral.net. Lots and lots of information about the Palm Pre and the Palm Pixi. So check us out. Thanks.